Hello my dear students. So now in session 4 we are going to discuss about the hierarchy of settlement and the rural and urban interrelationship. Is it clear? So in our last section, that was in session 3, we have discussed about the patterns of the settlement. We have already discussed about the types of the settlements. There are mainly basically the settlements can be classified into rural and the urban settlements, and on the basis of the pattern that further can be classified into nucleated and the dispersed settlements. Again, the nucleated settlements can be further classified into linear settlements, square, then starlight, then this rectangulars, all types of various types of settlements only basis on the pattern of the settlement. Now here we are going to discuss the hierarchy of settlement. So first of all, the hierarchy. What do you understand the term hierarchy? Hierarchy in simple term nothing but it's quite from low order to a very high order. Is it clear? So we can use suppose such as from the lower order to a very higher order, such as here I have already written one definition which is going through the settlement hierarchy is a chart used to model the relationship between various human population centers based on their size, population and available services. Remind it, our settlement hierarchy is a chart. Already I have drawn here a chart, a pyramid I have drawn already here. So to model the relationship, we have to see the relationship between various human population centers based on their size, population and available services. So basically the hierarchy is nothing but it is a typical type of chart. We have to see from the low order to the higher order, basically on the availability of services, size and on population. On the this terms of the population, we can classify the entire chart from the lowest order to the highest order. So a hierarchy is a ranking of items. So a settlement hierarchy is a ranking of settlements. Here if you can see now hamlet. So when the people used to settle in a particular place, so first of all initially they used to settle, the people used to settle only for 3 to 5 members, and suppose from 10 to 100 members. In a particular area there were people only from 10 to 100 people. Okay, there were no any kind of society, there were no any kind of city areas. Only when they used to know the importance of permanent settlement. So hamlet is what 10 to 100 people. When the people, these are quite this population, when the people residing from 10 to 100 people in a particular area, that was known as what hamlet. Then from the hamlet, this is the hierarchy in the hierarchical order, that is from the smallest order to the biggest order. Then after that, when the people used to grow much more, further they used to learn the importance of the settlement from, again when the expansion of their families from 110 to 100 people, when they expand their families, they develop the village from 100 to 2,500 people. In a particular village we can see from 100 to 2,500 people or 2,500 people. Nowadays we can see more than 2,500 people also, but depending on that particular population of the particular area, we will classify on this hamlet and village. Then after the village we can develop one small town. That means the population here where how much, it's quite about 2,500 up to 25,000. The population where we can find 2,500 up to 25,000, there we can say it is the transformation from village to small town, and here we can say some kind of cottage or some kind of small scale industries. That means it will depend on the population available services. In this hamlet and village only we can say the primary sectors, already we have discussed in our last sessions. Okay, yes. Now here we will see this small town, and from this small town we can say some development of this urban areas, basically on the terms of availability of the services. Then from small town, when we will largely grow, will expand a little bit higher, then it will form city. Now here city above 1,50,000 to 5 lakh peoples we can find in a particular city, where all the tertiary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary and quinary sectors we can see. And above the city is known as what? Conurbation. Conurbation, or we can say metropolitan cities also. That means above 2 million. Okay, that means above 2 million. That means 1 million is equal to what? 10 lakhs. And you know this above 2 million is more than 10 lakhs or more than 20 lakhs of people is equal to what? Conurbation. Conurbation also we can say, you know, different types of cities. When the 2 or 3 cities will come together, then it will result to conurbation. Is it clear? And above conurbation we can only see that is megalopolis. Megalopolis we can say that means above 10 million, above the 300 million, like that. Okay, so not 300, above 10 million, above 20 million we can say that is what? Megalopolis. It's the highest one, and the world's number one, first megalopolis is London. Okay, so in India we don't have megalopolis, we have only metropolitan cities. Okay, so this is known as the hierarchy of settlement, from smallest to the biggest or to the largest form of settlement. Okay, this is in the hierarchical order. Now next we will see the rural and urban interrelationship. So rural and urban interrelationship means what? You see, so the people of the urban area are quite dependent on the manufacturing sectors, on the tertiary sectors also, and the quaternary and quinary sectors, isn't it? Now you see, for to establishment a manufacturing industry, for the availability of the raw materials, where we have to depend. Obviously, we have to depend on the agricultural sector, that means on the primary sector. Until and unless we don't get the raw materials from the primary sector, we can't establish an industry, isn't it? Because for industries we need raw materials, and from where we raw materials? If we don't cultivate cotton, if we don't cultivate jute, then can we get the items from the cotton? Such as now we are wearing the cotton cloths, isn't it? In the textile industries, in the textile manufacturing industries, in the garment industries, where they will transform the raw cotton fiber into some finished products, into some desirable color, size and shape, and some kind of finished products according to the people's choice. There are varieties of productions. Is it clear? So what are the raw materials needed? Obviously cotton. That cotton, from where we will get cotton? Only in the agricultural side, isn't it? And the people who will cultivate the cotton, who will do the cotton cultivation, they are now into this what? Agricultural sector. They will be in the primary sector. Primary sector means what? Rural occupation. Yes, or in the rural sector. Is it clear now? In the rural areas. From the rural areas only, all the raw materials we get for secondary purpose. Again you will see, now in urban areas again we will find some kind of trade and commerce, some kind of business also, and for this business, for the trade and commerce, for this transport and then communication also, these rural sectors or the rural areas is quite also interrelated. Now how? The main question will come how. Now you see, for to go to a particular area, to travel a particular area, we have to travel across the rural areas only, because you see, basically in India, we know India's economic backbone is what? Agriculture. Yet we are quite dependent on the agriculture sector. Now this agriculture sector means what? The people who are quite engage themselves in agriculture. Yes, and the people that engage in the agriculture sector means what? They are quite living in the rural areas. Is it clear? Now these, until and unless we don't find a relationship between this urban and the rural, we can't develop the overall economy of a country. Is it clear? Now in this crisis situation, it's a best example, as now you can see the local commodities. Now we are depending on the local commodities, isn't it? For food supply also, for the vegetables also, whatever the locally available things now we are getting, we have to depend on that local things. That is known as one local motive, isn't it? So now we can't go to some kind of big mall, some kind of urban areas, for some kind of finished products, some kind of packaging food, some kind of that packaging every item, food items. We can't go to there. So now in present situation is the base example of the rural-urban interrelationship. Okay, so the people we have to we don't have to forget that the main base is from the rural areas only. The urban areas is quite developing. Is it clear? So this is what some kind of rural and urban interrelationship. So here again I will say some important points from a very important topic. You can see this human settlement can be rural or urban. The economic basis of rural settlement is agriculture, animal husbandry, collection of forest and animal resources. All already I have told you. Now you see in India more than 70% of the population lives in the rural areas, as the backbone of the economy of India is for agriculture. But globalization and the spread of various forms of information technology is bringing about progress in rural settlements too, and these progression quite developing the relationship of the rural areas with that of the urban areas. Is it clear? Now don't get confused about the rural and the urban interrelationship. That means what? All the urban people, all the urban activities have to depend on the rural areas. Why? Only because all the raw products, all the raw materials we can collect only from the rural areas. Until and unless the people don't do the cultivation, we don't get the raw materials, and if we don't get the raw materials, we can't develop an urban area. Is it clear now? So this is what the rural and urban interrelationship, and at the same time the rural people also, for better to buy some kind of goods and commodities, they have to travel to urban areas, and that I think you all know there are some kind of very small shops are there in the rural areas also, and for that rural areas the people have to collect all, they have to purchase, or they have to collect all the goods from the urban sector, from the urban areas, and after that they will bring to the rural areas, and the people that are dwelling in the rural areas, they can get all their their necessary commodities from that particular shop. Is it clear? So this is quite the relationship of the urban and the rural areas. Is it clear? Now what is hierarchy of settlement? Hierarchy of settlements is what? From the lowest to the that biggest this processing or the development of the settlement. So initially when the people used to settle in a particular area, there was only hamlet, then village, after small town, then large town, then city, then conurbanism, and after that what? It's megalopolis. Is it clear? And this will only depend on in terms of population, in terms of their activities and services. So here now we came up to the end of this session. So in this session number 4, we have discussed about the hierarchy of the settlement. We have discussed about the urban and rural interrelationship. Is it clear? So if there are doubts, we can discuss in our next session, in the doubt clearance session also, and you can ask me questions in our group, in our WhatsApp group, which you have already, all you have, I think you have joined it. And if you have any kind of queries, so we will discuss in that particular group. Okay. Now regarding the question answers, what type of questions, what type of the answers you have to write after completion of our entire syllabus, when we will discuss the very important questions from the question bank also, and from the previous year this question papers also, we will discuss all that things. So